So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and my parents were both very, very involved in the Jewish community. My mom was the first woman president of our conservative synagogue, and my dad was a serial treasurer and vice president of the JCC. And I spent most of my time in my childhood growing up in the back of those board meetings doing homework. I think that the commitment that they showed and the example that they set of taking care of others and being a part of something that's bigger than just yourself and doing that communally, jointly, together, really infused in me a lot of the things that I still believe are true to this day. I think from the time I was 10 or 11, I was going to synagogue every Saturday. But it was a place where I felt comfortable and probably led in some ways to what I'm doing now, because I knew the rabbis, I knew the cantor, I knew all the professionals there, and it was like a second home to me and a place that I really came to be comfortable in. Because when I looked around and I saw people who seemed to be really enjoying their jobs and liking what they were doing, it was the people that were my youth workers, right, through BYO and USY and those kinds of things. And I thought, I want to love what I do, and they seem to. Well, I went to Wisconsin for a couple of years and then transferred back and graduated from The Ohio State University with a degree in social work, and went right to graduate school at Brandeis University, where I got a nonprofit MBA and a social work degree. And I've been working in nonprofit ever since. That's what I love. I started my career at the JCC in Jacksonville, Florida. I was the director of teen services in Judaica. My work as a teen worker for a couple of years is what led me to Federation, because I realized pretty early on that I was more of a forest than a trees kind of person. Well, I spent about 7 years at the Pittsburgh Jewish Federation. I came in and I did young leadership and leadership development, and then eventually did some community building work. And then when I left there, I moved to Minneapolis to become the Chief Operating Officer of the Minneapolis Jewish Federation. And I spent a long time doing that, and then felt like I needed to get some different perspectives. And that's why I stepped outside and spent the past 9 years working outside the community. And this felt like the perfect time to come back. I am the proud father of 3 kids. I have a 22 and 19-year-old and a 20-month-old. My wife Barb and I are very excited to move to this community. We've both been involved in the Jewish community for a long time. We actually met when we were both working at the Federation. I was the COO, or Assistant Executive Director, at the Federation, and she was running Young Leadership. And then years later, we ended up reconnecting and getting married, and now we have a 20-month-old daughter. I love my kids. I love hanging out with them and doing things with them. It is definitely different being a parent again. I believe I was a good parent. I was a good father, and I really liked it. So why not do it again?
Nice to meet you.
I'm inspired every day by people who take on causes that are bigger than themselves, right? There's a lot going on in the world, and particularly with politics, there's a lot of divisiveness and a lack of really people coming together and having conversations. But they're really courageous people, and oftentimes they're young or younger, who are standing up and saying, this isn't good enough for me, or I don't like the way that this is being done. When the second Intifada happened in the aughts, Israel was under attack, and as a community we all had to do something, and the North American Jewish community decided what that was to raise a lot of money. And at that time, actually I was the COO in Minneapolis, and our CEO was on sabbatical, and he was out of the country. And we had 2 weeks to raise $4 million in cash. And I was responsible for that, and we accomplished it. We raised a little more than $4.5 million. Seeing people come together, seeing people drop everything, whether it was personal stuff, professional stuff, because there was a bigger need that was out there, was really incredible. I was proud to be a part of that. And there, the JCRC was separate. Part of the organization.
Right.
Tselem Elohim, we're all created in the image of God. We all have self-worth, and sometimes it's buried under layers of things, but our responsibility as a community and as individuals is to bring out the best in each other, because we all are created in that same image. We're not here to finish the task, we're here to continue it on and make things just a little better than it was before, because we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. I believe that this community is on the right path. I'm not here to change any of that. What I want to do is find the ways that I can help support that the best I can, listen to what people have to say, particularly about what scares them. So it's always easy to get excited, and those things will get taken care of because there's a lot of momentum behind them. It are the pieces of that study and the implementation of it that scare people, that make them say, I don't know if we can, or I don't know if we should. Those are the areas where I'd like to find ways to lean in a little more and push people so that we can create something that we never thought we could, and we can do it together and create something that'll continue to be an example for the rest of the country to look at. And so I am proud and excited to become the next president and CEO of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis.